So here is my final video summary for this class. This week was pretty easy, like the rest of them been. Just got a little behind time with other stuff going on in life, but enough of that. So, a package and repository. I have used those before when it comes to iPhones because of a jailbreaking feature. When you jailbreak, you have to install a different application store, and to once you install an application store, you have to add repositories. And when you add the repository, it opens up different packages of apps. So the repository is basically another server that has a bunch of user created apps or enterprise created apps, depending on which one you add. And the packages are basically either applications that you can install or DLL files, script files, shortcuts, and things along that way. To find approved ones for CentOS, fastest way I did find those was to just use the link provided in FSO. But easiest way to do it really is just Google it. Repositories. I spelled repositories wrong. So you can go to Wiki. This is where a lot of them is, and then here are the additional ones that CentOS has built in, and then third party. So these are the community approved ones. So basically, whatever the community says what are good and not bad to use, they are these right here. And then the ones right here are the ones that might have problems with it. So enable the repo by default, or enable there another just forces permissions on it and overwrite the changes. To install them, so here's my CentOS. You have to go through terminal, and so you would do, okay, let's change the group. Let's see, I will find it and explain it. Okay, maybe I don't have it on here. Okay, so you would type in sudo, and then what was the thing? Dash enable repo, and then equals PEL. It'd be that, and then the name of the repo, and then install and run the script, and then it would install for you. So did it. Not sure if I'm gonna keep doing it, so I'm not 100% sure on how to do it completely yet, but I'll learn as I go along. So, and then creating a RAID in CentOS. So we need to go shut this down first. So shut this down. So now that that's shut down, I got to go into my VMware machine library, and then command click on here and go to settings. And then I still have it, but to do it, you would have to go into add device, and then new hard disk, and then create another one. I'm not gonna do it because I have the two right there. So don't add settings. So I have the two hard disks right there, and then after you've done that, you go back into CentOS. This is probably gonna take a little bit. And while that's booting, the same thing can be done in Windows. I don't believe I have it shut down, but I can show you. So go in here, hard disk, add device, add a new hard disk. I don't have it shut down or suspended, so it won't let me do it, but add a new hard disk, and then once they both are added, so it'd be hard disk 2 and then whatever new one that you add. So that'll be the added virtual disk. Basically the same way in CentOS, is just in the Windows. So in here, then you have to go through terminal, and it's a bunch of command line prompts. For the sake of time, because I don't think I will have this done in time to turn it in. Disk command. So this is the MDAM, the disk manager, and then create the modified disk partition from disk 1 and disk 2, turn it to disk 0, and then make it a level 1, and then turn it to a RAID, and then you add the 2 disk drives. So SDB would be disk 1 and SDC would be disk 2, and then turns into a RAID 1. So yeah, okay. And then in Windows, I had the 1 disk created and I deleted it, so I just have the 1 right now. So in here, to change the file, first of all, how to get there. So to get there, you go here, type in disk, and then format disk partitions. Probably open another one somewhere. Yes, right there. So disk partition. So this is an unallocated disk, the virtual disk I created. So we command click here, and then if you had a second disk, it would go to new span volume. And after you go to new span volume, you would move the second disk over to it also. And with that, you just basically follow the tutorial and it will walk you through doing it. So that's with that. Okay, creating a user in Windows is a little easier than most people know. So go to settings and then accounts, I believe. No, it's not accounts. It is, I don't remember. Okay, I'll do it in CentOS. So in here, go to the top, then go to account settings, and then you unlock. It's gonna ask my password, which I think is this. Okay, and then add user, and then type in a name. Just allow password to be set when they log in, and then hit OK, and it creates the user. So user 1, user 2, and then when they log in, they can add their password. And then to add a group, I believe it is some details, users. I don't remember how to add a group. So I'm wondering if I do this. Nope, not there. Okay, I'm not sure how to add a group, but yeah, it's along the same lines. It's just I don't remember how to do it. Okay, and so this is CentOS, Windows, and then Fedora. I probably shouldn't have all three of these running at the same time. But here's Fedora, the other Linux distro that I installed. Okay, end of life is when a operating system is completely not supported at all by the Windows support team or get any patches or updates, and the Windows, and anytime something hits end of life, it's completely done for. So it will not be no more downloads for it, no more distribution or anything along those lines. And then the vulnerabilities that I found in Windows was that even with the Windows Defender that it has built in, it still has its own vulnerabilities as far as As far as like Malwarebytes or malware that gets installed into it, Windows Defender can't always defend from it because of coding that people have done with different malwares that they produce. It gets around Windows Defender, and it's pretty bad because malware is really hard to get rid of. Another thing that Windows has a flaw in is this permission system. So say if you go to properties and then customize, no, it's not that. It's would be, yeah, I think this might have it. But if you go and look at the permissions of something, yeah, I can't find it in here. If you look at the permissions of something, if you are on a shared network, a person could actually get into the file system and change stuff around if you just have a general user permission on it. And that's another bad thing about Windows is the file share feature. If it's not completely, if it's not really configured the right way, somebody can get in, take your files, look through all your files and anything that they want to do with it without you knowing or without you being able to really stop them. Virtual machines are a computer within a computer. It is basically a computer that is run out of a hardware setting. So as in with VMware, this is every time you create a new machine. So if you go to new, every time you create a new one, it basically says you are installing a brand new computer or a brand new operating system onto a blank disk drive, and that's what the system sees it as. A kernel is the brains of the computer, in my opinion. It what manages everything that goes on as far as what gives what kind of memory allocation and what kind of software has what permissions to do what on the system. File systems, NTFS is the most used file system that's basically universal to most systems. Apple uses a APFS file system. A lot of removable hard drives uses FAT32 because that's another universal one. Or the other one would be, I think it is, let's see what that has on here. You don't have them. But file systems is basically what a system uses to read the data that's on the particular hard drive or the hardware that is used. Command prompts are command prompts and commands are basically a digital version of a GUI. It uses text and words to create uses text and words to do the same thing a general user interface would do, or it can open up different aspects of the system. The main one that I usually use if I'm having problems with my internet is this right here, just to see what my IP address is. One that is used by a lot of scammers is the tree. It displays basically the whole file system and how it's connected throughout your entire system and things along those lines. Viruses is a software that gets inside of your computer system and it takes the other software and replicates itself by copying itself into those things, or copying itself into that file, and then it remotely pushes itself out to the rest of the file system. And malware is along the same lines, but it has other aspects that it does. It sits in the back and waits for things to do. The biggest thing with malware is that it uses your hardware to do other things to other hardware and take over, and it's very hard to get out of because it digs in and holds on tight. Users are different people that can use a certain device or a certain computer. On here I have 3 users, myself and then user 1 and user 2. Those are all people that have their own separate file systems and they own their own settings as far as desktop and the programs that they use. and then groups are along the same thing. Same set of file systems, but it puts all the file systems into one group, so they all have the same permission to do the same thing on same files. A Linux kernel is a monokernel. It is the base way to put it in simple terms is a one line block of code, which is not just one line block, it's just a big block of code, but it's all one portion, and it multitasks by having a certain amount of memory allocated for a program. So say in CentOS, say in CentOS I opened up, I don't know what happened. Say I opened up the LibreOffice. Now LibreOffice would have its own memory allocation into the kernel, and then if I want to open another one up like Firefox, now this application will be in its own memory allocation and also its own time slot. Is the best way to put it. So say as I continue to open programs and continue to use them, and I stop using LibreOffice, this would get overwritten by one of the newer programs, and then its memory allocation will be downsized. But it keeps it open, so anytime you need to bounce from application to application, you can do it seamlessly. And the sudo command is basically a super user upstep, so you can install things. When you use sudo, you have to put your password in, or your user password, to use it, but it's basically just turning yourself into a super user. This class overall was pretty interesting, I could say, but a lot of it was review for me, considering how much I have done with different things. So yeah, it was fun nonetheless. So thanks for whatever I learned and what you taught me, and I hope to continue with my studies and see where it takes me. So thank you and goodbye.